I wasn't supposed to fall in love with her. She was my best friend. The one who knew every secret I never told anyone else. The one who stayed on the phone with me until 3 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. The one who held my hand when my whole world was falling apart. And now, I'm standing here, watching her try on her wedding dress. Smiling. Laughing. Looking perfect. For someone else. I keep telling myself this is what she always wanted. That I should be happy for her. That I'm just her friend. But then she turns to me. And asks, do I look okay? And I swear. My heart breaks in ways I can't even explain. Because she doesn't know. She doesn't know that every time she laughs, I still remember the first time I met her, it wasn't anything special. No slow motion moment, no dramatic music, no instant spark. Just a random Tuesday morning in college. I walked into class late, my hair a mess, coffee in one hand, anxiety in the other, scanning the room for an empty seat. And that's when I saw her. She looked up, caught my eyes for half a second, and smiled. "Seats free," she said, tapping the chair next to her. That was it. That's how she walked into my life, like it was nothing. Like she didn't just change everything. Her name was Emily. She wasn't the loudest person in the room, but somehow, she was always the center of it. The kind of girl people naturally gravitated toward. Not because she tried, but because she was just warm. Safe. The first thing I noticed about her wasn't her looks, it was the way she listened. Like when you talked, you actually mattered. And for someone like me, who always felt invisible, that was dangerous. "Why are you always late?" she asked me that day, smiling like she already knew the answer. "Because mornings hate me," I said, dropping into the seat. She laughed. Not a fake laugh, not a polite one, a real one. And for some reason, I wanted to hear it again. We became friends without even realizing it. It started with small things. Sharing notes, borrowing pens, complaining about professors, then it turned into walking to class together. Then lunch. Then texting. Then, everything. "You're my favorite person," she said once, casually, while we were sitting on the grass outside campus. I laughed it off. Yeah. You say that to everyone." She shook her head. "No, just you." I don't know why, but something about the way she said it stayed with me. Days turned into months, and somehow, she became part of my everyday life. Morning texts, "Are you awake?" Late night calls, "I can't sleep." Random selfies, inside jokes, shared playlists. She knew my coffee order. I knew her favorite songs. She'd steal my hoodie when she was cold, and never give it back. "You look better in it anyway," she'd tease. And I'd pretend it didn't make my heart race. But the truth, I never saw it coming. Not at first. Because people don't warn you when friendship starts turning into something else. It just happens. Quietly. It was one night, around 2:47 a.m. I remember because I checked the time 3 times after it happened. We were on a call, like always. Talking about nothing, everything. "Do you ever think about the future?" she asked. "All the time," I said. "It terrifies me." "Same," she whispered. There was a pause. A long one. The kind that feels heavy, like something's about to happen. "Promise me something," she said softly. "What?" "Don't ever disappear from my life." I laughed nervously. Where would I even go? I don't know, she said. But I feel like if you ever left, I wouldn't be okay. And something inside me shifted. That was the first moment I realized, she wasn't just my best friend. Not anymore. After that, everything felt different. Her touch lingered longer. Her hugs felt tighter. Her voice, softer. Or maybe, it was just me. I started noticing things I shouldn't have. The way she tucked her hair behind her ear when she was nervous, the way her eyes lit up when she talked about things she loved, the way she'd look at me sometimes, like I meant more than just a friend. And that scared me. Because I didn't know if it was real, or if I was just imagining it. You've been quiet lately, she said one afternoon. We were sitting in her room, music playing softly in the background. I'm just tired, I lied. She narrowed her eyes. You're a terrible liar. I smiled weakly. Maybe. She moved closer, sitting right next to me now. Talk to me, she said gently. And for a second, I almost told her everything. But I didn't. Because some truths feel too dangerous to say out loud. So instead, I said, it's nothing. She didn't believe me. I could tell. But she didn't push. That's who she was. She never forced her way into your thoughts, she just waited until you let her in. And maybe that's why I fell so hard. Weeks passed. And I kept pretending everything was normal. That my heart didn't skip every time she touched me, that I didn't overthink every message she sent, that I wasn't slowly falling in love with my best friend. Until the day everything changed. It was a Friday evening. She texted me, come over. I need to tell you something. Something about it felt different. Serious. I didn't know why, but my chest felt tight the entire way there. When I walked into her apartment, she was standing by the window. Nervous. Playing with her fingers, something she always did when she was anxious. Hey, I said softly. She turned around. Smiled. But it wasn't her usual smile. This one didn't reach her eyes. Sit, she said. And that's when I knew something was wrong. I sat down, but my hands wouldn't stop shaking. Something felt off. Not just a little off, that deep, gut feeling, like your world is about to change and you don't get a say in it. She didn't sit right away. She just stood there, pacing slowly, biting her lip, avoiding my eyes. Emily, what's going on? I asked. She stopped. Took a deep breath. Then finally looked at me. And for a second, I saw fear in her eyes. I did something, she said quietly. My stomach dropped. What do you mean? She hesitated. Like she was choosing her words carefully, or maybe, trying not to say them at all. I didn't know how to tell you, she continued. I've been trying for days, but every time I see you, I just... Emily, I interrupted, my voice tighter now, you're scaring me. She nodded slowly. I know. Then, silence. The kind that feels loud. Heavy. Uncomfortable. And then she said it. I'm getting married. Everything inside me just stopped. I think I blinked. Maybe once. Maybe twice. But nothing made sense anymore. What? I whispered. She gave a small, nervous laugh. Yeah, it just happened really fast. Fast, my mind repeated that word over and over again. Fast, how does something like that happen fast? How do you go from late night calls with me, to getting married to who? I asked, even though part of me didn't want to know. His name is Daniel, she said. Daniel. A name I had never heard before. A person I had never seen. A life I was never part of. We met a few months ago, she continued. He's really kind. Stable. He knows what he wants. Each word felt like a knife. Kind. Stable. Certain. Everything I wasn't. And he proposed last week, she added softly. Last week. Last week, she was on the phone with me for 3 hours, laughing about something stupid. Last week, she told me I was her favorite person. Last week, and she didn't say a word. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. My voice came out quieter than I expected. Not angry. Just broken. She looked down. I was scared. Of what? Of losing you. I let out a small, bitter laugh. Funny, because that's exactly what this feels like. She flinched. And I immediately regretted it. Because hurting her was the last thing I ever wanted. Even now. Even like this. I didn't mean it like that, she said quickly. I didn't know how to tell you. I nodded slowly. Trying to process everything. Trying to breathe. Trying not to fall apart right in front of her. So, when is it? I asked. And I don't know why I asked that. Maybe because I needed to know how much time I had left, before she was gone for good. In 3 days. 3 days. 72 hours. That's all it took, to destroy everything I thought we had. 3 days. I repeated, almost to myself. She nodded. And you want me to what? I asked. Be there, she said softly. That word hit harder than everything else. Be there. You want me to stand there? I swallowed hard. And watch you marry someone else. Her eyes filled with tears. I want you there because you matter to me. I looked at her. Really looked at her. And for the first time, I felt distance between us. Like there was a version of her I never knew. I matter, I said quietly. Of course you do. Not enough, I whispered. She stepped closer. Don't say that. But it was true. If I mattered enough, wouldn't she have told me sooner? Wouldn't she have given me a chance to? No, I stopped myself. Because that thought was too dangerous. A chance to what? To tell her I loved her, to ruin everything, to risk losing her completely. Maybe this was always how it was supposed to end. I'm happy for you, I said. The biggest lie I had ever told. She searched my face. Like she was trying to see through me. You don't have to pretend, she said. I'm not pretending, I replied quickly. Another lie. Because the truth was screaming inside me. Begging me to say something. Anything. Tell her. Tell her now. Before it's too late. But I stayed quiet. Because I was scared. Scared that if I said it, I'd lose her completely. And maybe, some part of her was waiting. Waiting for me to stop her. To say something. To give her a reason to choose differently. But I didn't. And that silence might have been the biggest mistake of my life. She gave me a small, sad smile. I'm really glad you came. Yeah, I said softly. Me too. But as I walked out of her apartment that night, it felt like I had just walked away from something I could never get back. And I didn't know it yet, but the next 72 hours were going to change everything. I didn't sleep that night. Not even for a second. I just kept staring at the ceiling, replaying everything she said over and over again. I'm getting married. In 3 days. Be there. 3 days. That number felt like a countdown, like a clock ticking inside my chest. I picked up my phone at 3:12 a.m. Opened our chat. Scrolled, and scrolled, and scrolled. Pictures. Voice notes. Late night conversations that never seemed to end. You're my favorite person. Don't ever leave me. I don't know what I'd do without you. My chest tightened. Because now, she was choosing a life without me. I threw my phone aside. This doesn't make sense, I whispered to myself. Because it didn't. None of it did. How do you go from this, to marrying someone else unless, I sat up suddenly. Heart racing. Unless she never felt what I felt. That thought hit me harder than anything else. Because if that was true, then everything I believed about us, was just in my head. No. I shook my head. That can't be true. Because I felt it. Those moments, they weren't one-sided. Were they the way she looked at me sometimes, the way her voice softened when it was just us, the way she held onto me a little longer than necessary, that wasn't nothing. It couldn't be. Right, I grabbed my phone again. Opened her contact. My thumb hovered over the call button. Call her. Ask her. End this confusion. But I couldn't, because deep down, I was terrified of the answer. What if she said it was all in my head? What if I ruined everything? What if I lost her completely? So instead, I did nothing. And that silence started eating me alive. The next morning, everything felt unreal. I went through my day like a ghost. Classes. People. Noise. None of it registered. Are you okay? Someone asked me. I nodded automatically. I'm fine. But I wasn't. Not even close. Everywhere I looked, something reminded me of her. The cafe we always went to. The bench where we sat for hours. Even the stupid vending machine she always complained about. It was like, she was everywhere. Except with me. By the afternoon, I couldn't take it anymore. I needed to see her. I didn't text. Didn't call. I just showed up. When she opened the door, she looked surprised. But not unhappy. Hey. She said softly. And just hearing her voice again, it did something to me. Something dangerous. Can I come in? I asked. She hesitated for a second. Then stepped aside. Yeah, of course. I walked in. Everything looked the same. But it didn't feel the same. There were wedding magazines on the table. A white dress hanging near the window. Decor samples, flowers, invitations. Proof. Real, undeniable proof, that this was actually happening. You came, she said quietly behind me. I turned to face her. Yeah. Silence again. God. I hated this silence. Why didn't you tell me about him? I finally asked. She looked down. I don't know. I guess I kept waiting for the right time. And you thought 3 days before your wedding was the right time? I said. My voice cracked slightly. I hated that she could hear it. I said I was scared, she replied. Scared of what? I stepped closer. Me? No, she said quickly. Scared of this. She gestured between us. This, I repeated. Yes, whatever this is. That word again. This. Like what we had, didn't even have a name. Then tell me, I said, my voice lower now. What is this, Emily? She didn't answer. Just looked at me. And that look, it said everything she wasn't saying. Confusion. Fear. Something deeper, something she was trying to hide. Say something, I whispered. I can't, she said. Why not? Because if I do. Her voice broke slightly, everything changes. I laughed bitterly. Everything has already changed. She flinched again. I didn't plan this, she said. I didn't plan to meet him. I didn't plan for things to move this fast. But you said yes, I cut her off. She went quiet. Didn't you? I pressed. Yes. That one word felt like a final blow. Then what are we even talking about? I asked. Because at this point, I didn't even understand why I was there. If she chose him, then where did that leave me? She looked at me again. And this time, there were tears in her eyes. You're making this harder than it already is, she whispered. I stared at her. Heart pounding. No, I said slowly. You are. Another silence. But this one felt different, like something was about to break. And then, she said something I wasn't ready for. Do you think I don't feel it too? Everything inside me stopped. Feel what? I asked, barely able to breathe. She shook her head. Like she already regretted saying it. Nothing, she said quickly. But it was too late. Because now, I knew. There was something. And suddenly, walking away didn't feel like an option anymore. Don't do that, I said quickly. She froze. Don't say nothing, when we both know it's not nothing. My voice wasn't loud. But it was intense. The kind of intensity you can't fake anymore. She turned away from me. Like she couldn't face what was happening. I shouldn't have said anything, she whispered. But you did, I stepped closer. And now you don't get to take it back. Silence. I could hear her breathing. Uneven. Nervous. Just like mine. Emily. I said softly, look at me. She didn't. So I moved closer, slowly, until I was right in front of her. Close enough to see the tears sitting in her eyes. Tell me the truth, I whispered. She closed her eyes. And for a second, I thought she was going to walk away. But she didn't. Instead, she said something that changed everything. I tried not to feel it. My heart skipped. Tried not to feel what I asked. She opened her eyes. And this time, she didn't look away. You, she said. Everything went silent. The room. My thoughts. Even my breathing. You. I repeated, barely above a whisper. She nodded slowly. I didn't mean for it to happen, she continued. It just did. 1,000 emotions hit me at once. Shock. Relief. Anger. Hope. Then why? I asked. Why are you marrying him? That question, it hung between us like a weight. She swallowed hard. Because it's easier. I stared at her. Easier. Yes, she said, her voice shaking now. With him, everything makes sense. And with me? I asked. She hesitated. With you, everything feels complicated. Complicated. I let out a small, disbelieving laugh. So instead of choosing what feels real, I shook my head. You're choosing what's easy. It's not just that, she said quickly. You don't understand. Then make me understand. I snapped. My voice echoed slightly in the room. And for a second, we both froze. Because I had never raised my voice at her before. Ever. She looked at me, really looked at me, like she was seeing a side of me she didn't recognize. And maybe she was. Because I wasn't the same anymore. I'm scared, she finally admitted. That word, it softened something inside me. Just a little. Of what, I asked, quieter now. Of losing everything, she said. You already are, I replied. Her eyes filled with tears again. With him. I know what my life will look like, she continued. It's safe. It's stable. It's predictable. And with me, I asked again. She smiled sadly. With you? I don't know anything. I took a step closer. Then maybe that's the point. She shook her head. No, that's exactly what scares me. Another silence. But this one felt heavier. Because now, everything was out in the open. She felt something. I felt something. And yet, she was still choosing someone else. Do you love him? I asked. The question came out before I could stop it. She froze. And that hesitation told me everything. She started, then stopped. Do you? I pressed. I care about him, she said finally. That wasn't the answer I asked for. Emily. I whispered, that's not the same thing. I know, she said. Her voice broke. I know it's not. And that's when it hit me. She wasn't choosing him, because she loved him more. She was choosing him, because she was afraid to choose me. You're running, I said quietly. She didn't deny it. I'm protecting myself, she replied. From what? From getting hurt, she said. I looked at her. Heart aching. And you think this isn't going to hurt? She didn't answer. Because she knew the truth. It already did. For both of us. I took a deep breath. Trying to steady myself. 3 days, I said. She nodded. 3 days, and you're going to walk down that aisle. I swallowed hard. Knowing this. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I don't know what else to do, she whispered. And for the first time, she looked completely lost. Not the confident, warm girl I knew, but someone scared. Confused. Broken. And somehow, that made it even harder. Because now, it wasn't just about me anymore. It was about both of us. Standing on the edge of something, neither of us knew how to handle. And the worst part, time wasn't slowing down. It was running out. I shouldn't have gone. But I did. The next evening, she texted me. There's a small dinner tonight, just close people. You should come. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it. To disappear. To protect whatever was left of me. But the other part, the stupid, hopeless part of me, still wanted to be close to her. Even if it meant watching her slip away. So I went. Worst mistake of my life. The restaurant was warm, dim lights, soft music, the kind of place where people celebrate love. I felt sick the moment I walked in. And then I saw her. She was standing near the table, wearing a simple white dress. Not her wedding dress, but close enough to remind me of what was coming. She looked beautiful. Effortlessly. For a second, I forgot how to breathe. Until I saw him. Daniel. standing right next to her. He had his arm around her waist, like it belonged there. Like she belonged there. And something inside me snapped. "Hey, you came," she said, smiling when she saw me. That smile, God, I hated how much it still affected me. "Yeah," I said, forcing a small smile back. She walked over to me. And for a brief second, it felt normal again. Until he stepped forward. "You must be the famous best friend," he said, extending his hand. Famous. I didn't like that word. "Something like that," I replied, shaking his hand. His grip was firm. Confident. Everything about him felt certain. "I've heard a lot about you," he added. I glanced at her. She avoided my eyes. Of course she did. "All good things, I hope," I said. "Only the best," he smiled. I nodded. But inside, I was burning. We sat down. And that's when it got worse. Because now, I had a front row seat. To their life. The way he looked at her. The way he leaned closer when she spoke. The way she smiled at him, it wasn't fake. That's what hurt the most. She wasn't pretending. She was trying. Trying to build something real with him. While everything between us remained unspoken. "Remember that trip we were planning?" she suddenly said, looking at me. I blinked. "What?" She smiled softly. "The one by the beach, you said you'd teach me how to swim properly." My chest tightened. "Yeah. I remember." Daniel laughed lightly. "She never mentioned that," he said. "Of course she didn't. Because that trip was ours. Something we never got to have." "Oh, we talked about a lot of things," she said quickly. Too quickly. Like she was trying to cover something up. Or hold on to it. I couldn't tell any more. As the night went on, it only got harder. Every laugh. Every touch. Every moment they shared, felt like a reminder. "You're too late." And then, it happened. He reached for her hand. And she didn't pull away. She held it. Right in front of me. That was it. I couldn't take it anymore. "I need some air," I muttered, standing up suddenly. No one stopped me. Of course they didn't. Because to them, I was just the best friend. Nothing more. I walked outside. The cool night air hit my face, but it didn't help. My chest felt tight. My thoughts, louder than ever. Why am I doing this to myself? I leaned against the wall, closing my eyes. Trying to breathe. But all I could see was her. With him. "You always run when things get hard." Her voice. I opened my eyes. She was standing there. Alone. "Funny," I said, my voice low, "I was about to ask you the same thing." She crossed her arms. "That's not fair." "Neither is this," I shot back. Silence. The tension between us was unbearable now. "You didn't have to come," she said quietly. "I know," I replied. "Then why did you?" I looked at her. Really looked at her. And for the first time, I didn't hold back. "Because I love you." The words escaped before I could stop them. And just like that, everything changed. She froze. Completely. Her eyes widened slightly, like she wasn't ready to hear it. Or maybe, she was afraid of how much it meant. "Say something," I whispered. But she didn't. Because now, there was no going back. For a moment, she didn't move. Didn't blink. Didn't even breathe. She started, then stopped. That silence was louder than anything she could have said. You what I asked. My voice wasn't angry anymore. Just tired. Because I had finally said it. The one thing I was holding back this entire time. I didn't want you to say that, she whispered. I let out a broken laugh. Yet. I figured. She shook her head quickly. No, you don't understand. Then help me understand, I said. My chest felt heavy. Like everything inside me was about to collapse. Because if you say it. Her voice cracked, then I can't ignore it anymore. There it was. The truth. You were already not ignoring it, I said softly. She looked away. I was trying to, she admitted. I nodded slowly. Why? She took a deep breath. Like she was trying to hold herself together. Because this. She gestured between us, it's not simple. Love isn't supposed to be simple, I said. Exactly, she snapped suddenly. And that's the problem. Her voice rose. Emotion spilling out now. With him, everything is clear, she continued. There's no confusion. No risk. No real feeling, I interrupted. She went quiet. And that silence said everything again. You feel it, I said. Not a question. A fact. Tears started falling down her cheeks. Yes, she whispered. That one word hit harder than anything else. Then why are you doing this, I asked. My voice broke this time. Why are you choosing him, when you feel this? She covered her face with her hands. Because I'm scared. She cried. The sound of her breaking, it shattered something inside me too. I've never felt like this before, she continued. With you, it's intense. It's overwhelming. It's real, I said. She nodded slowly. Yes, and that's exactly why it terrifies me. I stepped closer. But that's not a reason to run. It is for me. She said, almost desperately. Another silence. But this one was full of pain. You think I'm not scared, I said quietly. She looked at me. You think this is easy for me, I continued. Watching you choose someone else, knowing you feel something for me too. Her lips trembled. I didn't ask you to fall in love with me, she whispered. That hurt. More than anything else. I didn't ask for it either, I replied. Because it was true. No one chooses this. It just happens. And now what, I asked. She didn't answer. 3 days, I continued. You're going to walk down that aisle, knowing this, feeling this. I took a step back. And I'm just supposed to what, smile, clap, pretend I'm okay? She shook her head. I don't expect that. Then what do you expect, I asked. She looked at me. Eyes red. Face tear-stained. I don't know, she whispered. That was it. She didn't know. And somehow, that made everything worse. Because this wasn't just a mistake. This was a choice. And she was choosing, without knowing what she really wanted. I ran a hand through my hair, frustration building inside me. You're going to regret this, I said. She flinched. Maybe, she admitted. But at least I'll know I made the safe choice. Safe. I laughed bitterly. Safe doesn't mean right. She didn't argue. Because she knew. Deep down, she knew. I can't do this, I said suddenly. She looked up. What do you mean? I can't stand there and watch you marry him, I said. My voice was firm now. It'll destroy me. Her eyes filled with tears again. I don't want to lose you, she whispered. I shook my head slowly. You already are. Silence. And this time, neither of us tried to fill it. Because there was nothing left to say. I looked at her one last time. The girl I fell in love with. The girl who felt the same, but wasn't brave enough to choose it. I wish things were different, she said softly. Me too, I replied. And then, I turned around. And walked away. But this time, it didn't just feel like I was leaving her apartment. It felt like I was leaving her. For real. And I didn't know if I'd ever come back. I didn't go home. I just kept walking. No direction. No destination. Just, away. Away from her. Away from everything I felt. Away from the truth that was slowly breaking me apart. My phone buzzed. Once. Twice. Again. I didn't check it. Because I already knew who it was. And I didn't trust myself to answer. Hours passed. Or maybe minutes. I couldn't tell anymore. Until finally, I stopped. I was standing outside a small cafe. The same one we used to go to almost every day. Of course. Even when I tried to run, I still ended up somewhere that reminded me of her. I let out a quiet, tired laugh. Pathetic, I muttered to myself. But I went in anyway. Because some habits are hard to break. I ordered coffee. Sat in the corner. The same corner we always chose. And that's when I heard it. Hey, aren't you Emily's friend? I looked up. A girl was standing there. Familiar. But I couldn't place her. Yet. I said slowly. Do I know you? She smiled slightly. I'm Sarah. Emily's cousin. Right. I'd seen her once or twice. Family gatherings, random mentions, nothing important. Until now. Mind if I sit? She asked. I shrugged. Sure. She sat down across from me. Studied my face for a moment. You look like you haven't slept, she said. I let out a dry laugh. Is it that obvious? A little, she smiled. Silence. Then she said something that made my chest tighten instantly. You know about the wedding, right? I nodded. Yet. She tilted her head slightly. And you're okay with it? That question felt wrong. Why wouldn't I be? I asked carefully. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she leaned back slightly. Watching me. Like she was deciding something. And then, she said it. You shouldn't be. My heart skipped. What do you mean? She hesitated. Maybe I shouldn't get involved, she muttered. No, I said quickly. Say it. Because something inside me already knew. Knew that whatever she was about to say was going to change everything. Sarah sighed. Emily isn't marrying him because she's in love. I froze. I know that, I said quietly. No, she shook her head. You don't understand. My chest tightened. Then explain it to me. She leaned forward. Lowering her voice slightly. She's being pressured. Everything inside me went still. Pressured, I repeated. Sarah nodded. Her family, especially her parents, she said. They've been pushing this for months. Months. My mind immediately went back. All those times she seemed distant, distracted, quiet, I thought it was stress. I thought it was nothing. But it wasn't. She didn't even want to meet him at first, Sarah continued. But they insisted. Why, I asked. Because he's perfect, she said, using air quotes. Perfect. The same word Emily used. Good family. Stable job. Same background. Everything suddenly started making sense. They think he's the right choice, Sarah added. And what about what she wants, I asked. Sarah looked at me. That's the problem. My stomach dropped. She stopped thinking about what she wants, a long time ago. Silence. Heavy. Unreal. She told them yes, because it was easier, Sarah said softly. Easier. That word again. But now, it meant something completely different. She didn't want to disappoint them, Sarah continued. She didn't want to cause problems, or make things complicated. Complicated. Just like she said. But this time, it wasn't about us. It was about everything. Why are you telling me this, I asked. Sarah held my gaze. Because I've seen the way she talks about you. My heart started racing. What do you mean? She doesn't say your name like she says everyone else's, Sarah said. There's something there, something she's trying really hard to ignore. I swallowed hard. And today? Sarah added, she didn't look like a bride. I frowned. What do you mean? She looked. Sarah paused, choosing her words carefully. Lost. That word hit deep. Because I saw that too. Last night. In her eyes. She thinks she's doing the right thing, Sarah said. But I don't think she is. Silence again. But this time, it felt different. Because now, I knew the truth. Not just part of it. All of it. She wasn't choosing him, because she didn't love me. She was choosing him, because she was afraid to fight for herself. And suddenly, everything changed. Because now, this wasn't just about love anymore. It was about courage. And whether or not, she had enough of it. I stood up. Sarah looked at me. Where are you going? I took a deep breath. To fix this. Because for the first time, I wasn't confused anymore. I knew exactly what I had to do. The morning of the wedding felt unreal. Like the world was moving too fast for my mind to catch up. Everything was white. Calm. Beautiful. But to me, it felt like a countdown to something breaking. I stood outside the venue for a long time. Just staring. Watching people walk in, smiling, laughing, celebrating. As if this was a happy ending. But I knew better now. I already knew what Sarah told me. I already knew Emily wasn't fully choosing this. So why did it still feel like I was about to lose her forever? My phone was in my hand. Her contact open. One message. That's all it would take. Don't do this. Simple. But my thumb didn't move. Because what if I was wrong? What if I stopped her, and she hated me for it? What if I became the reason she lost everything? I closed my eyes. No. I whispered to myself. This isn't just fear anymore. This was something else. I opened my eyes. And I walked in. Inside, everything was perfect. Too perfect. Soft music. Fresh flowers. Guests seated neatly. And then I saw her. Emily. Standing in a small room near the entrance. Wearing her wedding dress. She looked breathtaking. But not happy. Not fully. Her hands were shaking slightly as someone fixed her veil. And when her eyes met mine through the mirror, everything stopped. For both of us. She turned around slowly. Hey! She whispered. Just that one word, hit me harder than anything else. Because it wasn't casual. It was fragile. Like she already knew why I was here. You shouldn't be here, she said softly. I know, I replied. Silence. Heavy again. Her fingers gripped the edge of her dress. I thought you wouldn't come, she admitted. I almost didn't. She nodded slightly. I wish you didn't. That hurt. But not in the way I expected. Because I understood what she meant. Not rejection. Fear. You look beautiful, I said quietly. She gave a small, sad smile. That's what everyone keeps saying. But you don't feel it, I asked. Her smile faded. No, she whispered. There it was. The truth. Clear now. No hiding. No confusion. Just fear, and pressure, and a decision she never truly made for herself. I talked to Sarah, I said. Her eyes widened slightly. You did. I nodded. She told me everything. Emily looked down immediately. I told her not to, she started. I'm glad she did, I interrupted. Silence. Then I stepped closer. Emily. I said softly. You don't have to do this. Her breathing changed instantly. Don't, she whispered. I mean it, I continued. This isn't your choice. Not really. She shook her head quickly. You don't understand. Then make me understand. Her eyes filled again. I can't just walk away, she said. I've already said yes, everything is ready, everyone is here. So what, I asked. People will talk, she said. My parents, the pressure, everything. I took another step closer. And what about you? That question hit her like silence. She didn't answer. Because she didn't have one. I'm scared, she finally admitted again. I know, I said softly. But you're not scared of him, I continued. You're scared of choosing yourself. That made her look up. And for the first time today, her expression cracked. Completely. I don't know what I want anymore, she whispered. My heart tightened. But there was no more confusion in me. Not now. I do, I said. She stared at me. What, she asked softly. I took a deep breath. I want you to stop running. Silence. The room felt like it stopped breathing too. You don't have to marry him, I said. Not if it's not what you want. Her hands trembled harder now. I can't just destroy everything, she whispered. You're not destroying anything, I said. You're choosing yourself. A long pause. Then footsteps outside. Voices. Music changing slightly. The ceremony was about to start. Time was running out. I looked at her. Really looked at her. And I said the final thing, that would decide everything. If you walk out that door, I'll understand. I paused. But if you stay. My voice broke slightly. Then I have to walk away from you, forever. Her eyes widened. That was the truth now. No more middle ground. One path. Or the other. And for the first time, she had to choose. I didn't move. Not even when I heard the doors fully close. Not even when the music shifted again, softer now, like everything was pretending to be normal. Because nothing was normal. Not anymore. I stood there for what felt like forever. Just staring at the empty space she had left behind. And then, a voice came from behind me. You should leave. I turned slowly. It was Sarah. Of course it was. I let out a tired breath. Yet. I think I should. But my feet didn't move. She walked closer. Carefully. Like she already knew what was happening inside me. She went out there, Sarah said softly. I nodded. Yet. A pause. And you're still here, she added. That hit deeper than I expected. Because she was right. I wasn't out there. I wasn't with her. I wasn't anything right now. Just, stuck. She made her choice, I said quietly. Sarah didn't respond immediately. Then she said something I wasn't ready for. No, she shook her head. She didn't. I frowned. Then what was that? She panicked, she said. That's not the same thing. Silence. For the first time, I felt something shift inside me. Not anger. Not sadness. Something heavier. Acceptance. Because maybe she was right. Maybe this wasn't a yes. Not really. Maybe it was fear speaking louder than truth. But it didn't change what happened. She still walked away from me, I said. My voice was low now. Empty. Sarah looked at me carefully. She didn't walk away from you, she said softly. She walked into what she's been forced into. I closed my eyes for a second. Because I knew that too. But knowing didn't make it hurt less. It just made it clearer. The music outside continued. The ceremony went on. Like everything was fine, like nothing inside me had just shattered. I took a slow breath. Do you think she'll be okay? I asked. Sarah hesitated. I don't know, she said honestly. That was the most real answer anyone had given me all night. I nodded. Yeah, me neither. I turned toward the exit. Finally. And started walking. Each step felt heavier than the last. Not because I was losing her. But because I finally understood something I refused to accept before. Love isn't always enough. Sometimes, timing is wrong. Fear is louder. And life chooses for you. I reached the door. Paused. Just once. And I thought about turning back. Just one more time. Just to see her. Just to stop it. But I didn't. Because deep down, I knew. If she truly wanted to stop it, she would have. And that truth was the hardest part. I pushed the door open. The sunlight hit my face. Warm. Normal. Cruel. And I walked out. Not because I stopped loving her. But because I finally understood that sometimes love means letting go, even when it destroys you. And inside that hall, Emily stood at the edge of a life she never fully chose, thinking about someone she never fully let go of. And that was the real ending.